Wednesday, as we say hello to our senior insider, Shams Charania. Shams, what are you hearing today about Trey's preferred trade destination here?
Malika, Trae Young, the four-time NBA All-Star guard, has the Washington Wizards as his top preferred trade destination. Sources tell me his agents and the Hawks are collaborating on figuring out a trade landing spot. And in the nation's capital, Trae Young would give the Wizards a lead guard for the future. They've got young players. Clearly, they've been rebuilding, but they've got young players that he could build with, and there are relationships that Trae Young has throughout the Wizards organization, specifically with their executive, Travis Schlenk, who drafted Young number 5 overall in the 2018 NBA draft. And so the Hawks now have 3 different paths. One being trading Trae Young by the trade deadline next month. The second path is seeing Trae Young, whether he opts in or opts out of that $49 million player option for next season. If he opts in, he's an expiring contract. If he opts out, that gives the Hawks about $40 million in cap space. So there is traction on a deal. A few days ago, it was agents and players and teams talking, but now there is traction in these trade conversations and his eventual exit out of Atlanta.
All right, so there is not only traction, but there is a top choice where Trae Young wants to go, and that is the Washington Wizards. Shams, thank you. Please do not go too far. We'll check back in with you as this continues to develop. Perk, Chene, Danny Green here. I don't know if I've ever said on this show, at least in the last 5 years, that Washington Wizards are a top trade destination. But here we are, Perk.
Hey, look, back the Brinks truck up. This what it's about, right? Yes, you're going to a franchise that's going to hand you over the keys, and they've been searching for a quote-unquote star for a minute now. But this is an opportunity for both parties and Trae to get max dollars because the Wizards don't have no choice. But I also like the pieces that they have. When we talk about Trae Young, he's a guy that can go out there and get you 25 or 30, but he also is a guy that's going to give you 10 assists and make guys around him better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. He also had Brooklyn on his trade destination in Minnesota, so that's a place that he would want to win. But I'm also thinking he wants to be a place where it's still his team. You know, he wants to win. He wants to obviously get the Brinks truck to back up. But he wants to he's still young enough, still in his prime. He still thinks he can run an organization and be a part of take an organization to the next level.
Yeah, I also think, like, New Year, you get an opportunity to reset, and this is a perfect reset place because he's 27 years old. He's still young enough to be able to have an impact. And let me just tell you, the only way is up. The only way for the Wizards is up.
For Washington.
And also, you think about it, like, his skill set to make other people better, he will have the ball in his hands. He will be able to score. Like, this is a perfect opportunity for him to maybe try to do something a little bit better and take his experience in Atlanta. And by the way, like, I like it when it's geographically easy. You know what I mean? Like, go from Atlanta to D.C. It's like, it's not that hard.
Well, in order to make this money work, you would have to think that Washington will have to move on from C.J. McCollum. And we did hear Shams say that this is starting to feel a little bit more imminent. C.J. McCollum has played every single game this year. He is listed as out tonight. Could that be a precursor for this to come even in the next couple of hours?
I've been in those shoes before.
We shall see. How about some shoes that Danny Green's been in before? And that is the Los Angeles Lakers. Let's get to them. They were in action last night. The dynamic duo of Luka and LeBron James here, Chene.
Nasty. Come on.
What a move.
Not fair.
With the screen.
And then right here, Luka once again, what a find to LeBron James. LeBron drinking from the fountain of youth in this game, Perk.
Oh, my God. Elbows above the rim.
Top of the square.
But I'm loving the little Boosie fade he got.
This right here is the That's So Raven. You're crazy with the Boosie fade. You're crazy.
That's an unbelievable pass right there.
Even Luka says,
this right here was the IQ.
Well, this is how you
With the windmill?
Nah, that's a little ceiling fan.
You just needed like 20
That's a little ceiling fan.
Not the big wheel.
It's been like 30, but that's okay. All right, to the fourth quarter we go. This one was a little close for comfort down the stretch.
That shot was coming.
LeBron, he's been adding that deep 3 to his bag over the last couple of years. Gets that one to go. And then here, Marcus Smart. I'm sure that was exactly what he meant to happen.
Like how they drew it up. Right.
The circus shot there by Luka Doncic. And then a minute later here, 4-point game.
Too small.
LeBron James gets it inside. The Lakers starting to pull away here, trying to put the finishing touches here on the New Orleans Pelicans.
Shot of the night. Shot of the night.
I mean, that's what Luka do. He's leading the league in scoring.
Made sure to remind the fan who had said just before the shot that he was trash. He said, what did you say? And I don't think he had anything to say after that.
How you like them apples?
Los Angeles gets the win. Let's take a listen to how it sounded after the game.
We don't need to bend this game. Luka is 20, what else? 27? 20. It's our 27-year-old franchise with his ball. We don't need to bend this game. It's up to us to bend our game around him and figure it out.
He's been absolutely amazing. Just helping me out, helping others out. Being super efficient on the field goals. But yeah, there's LeBron. He can do anything. So just really appreciate him. Like I said, when we out there, I think we're playing better with each other game by game, and this is just gonna be improving more.
Oh, how sweet. There's some high praise from LeBron and Luka and vice versa, but they really kicked it into high drive here. Fourth quarter, they combined to score 18 of the Lakers' 32 points. By the way, that is more than the entire Pelicans team scored in the final frame of the game. So the Lakers' dynamic duo, they need a treatment from our dynamic duo. Chene, what you seeing here?
Let's go. It's been a minute since we've gone shot for shot. Big bro, little sis. You know what I'm saying? We'll get you in next time, Danny. Now, you know what's interesting? The Lakers offensively are great because they have options between LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves. They have the potential to be the first trio in NBA history to average 25 and 5, which means when someone takes a backseat, they're good. They can do well all by themselves, those two. But let's really analyze on this play right here why LeBron and Luka work so well. One, LeBron is not running from the smoke here. He's got Zion. It's, hey, no problem here. He plays through it. This is the pick and roll. He was 7 for 11 in the paint. Most importantly, he sees this. No double is coming, no triple team. He sees the paint wide open. He had 14 paint points. He spins around and says, hey, y'all, you're too small. This is patented LeBron James. When he gets to the rim and also knocks down those signature step back threes, he's feeling good about himself. But if you think about in this time span, the last 5 games, LeBron and Luka, they've been doing well. They've been averaging combined 58 points and over 15 assists. The numbers are staggering. I know the trio can make history, but right now this duo is doing the dang thing.
They are, and those assists have to come to a big man because we all know that Braun and Luka, they thrive best when they have a live threat and a big that's willing to be a star in his role, and that's what DeAndre Ayton did. He asked for more touches. Damn it, he got it. And this is a perfect example of playing with LeBron James. Just sprint the floor, run with force, and snatch the screws out the rim. No floaters, no push shots. Here's another example. Great screen with him and Luka in the high pick and roll. He rolls to the basket. Look at that over the top, down the lane, finishing with authority. DeAndre Ayton, you will get the ball long as Luka and LeBron continue to trust you and you finish at the basket like that.
Also, Perk, you saying that Ayton has switched from going like this to stomping down the floor?
So many notes on that full screen, Perk. I thought those were just your notes that our producers put up
I
there.
wasn't about to read all that. That was going to take the entire show.
That was a business decision. Perk. Let's talk about this, though. That's the good for the Los Angeles Lakers. They're the 3rd seed in the Western Conference right now. However, they're 7-8 against teams that are 500 here. So how are we supposed to look at this Lakers squad here, Danny?
I give them a little grace because it's early.
Oh, come on, Danny.
But Perk, we both know, like February, March, April, you're not battle tested unless you're winning games against those better teams. Below 500, you're supposed to win these games. So it's a good win. You have bodies out. You have Gabe Vincent out. You have Narui's been in and out of the lineup. Austin Reeves, of course, a big piece. So being able to win these games is definitely important. But we know there's going to come a time where you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, we're not who we want to be or where we're supposed to be unless we play against those top teams and win those games against those top 500 groups.
Yeah, but in order for them to win those games, your best players or best player have to defend at a high level. And I'm not asking Luka to be Jaylen Brown or Derek White because physically he's not gifted enough. But I'm asking him to give forth the effort. When your best player is giving forth the effort defensively, everybody else is going to follow. And I think that's the area, or I know that's the area that they need to clean up.
Best players in the game, what number have they rocked typically? What number?
23?
23.
Right? That's where the Lakers are defensively. That has to go up. Okay.
Well, we don't know if the best players are going to be on the floor yet for the Los Angeles Lakers tonight. They're on the second night of a back-to-back, but so are their opponent, the San Antonio Spurs. To know where you're going, you need to know where you came from. And San Antonio came from getting Victor back against Memphis. Here's how this one went. Let's pick it up in the 3rd quarter.
Oh, yeah.
After Victor
That summer action paid off.
Perk, you can do that, right?
He would pull his whole bag.
Just like Perk could do this. Wemby making an impact here off of the bench. With the final seconds of the 3rd quarter here, Cam Spencer drives to the basket, kicks it to Jaren Jackson Jr.
Okay,
Cam was great.
JJJ, 21 points in this one. All right, under 5 left in the 4th. Wemby, power burrowing his way
Like
inside.
a shake to the left. Come on.
Keeping his team in it here. But again, notice now the time and the score. Wemby keeping his team in it. But guess what? He's hit his minutes restriction, so to the bench he goes. But that's why you're supposed to get Captain Clutch, right, Trae?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a game where I was like, okay, the Spurs are going to pull away. They're finding their way. But then again, I said, that man right there had himself a night.
Ooh, Spencer brothers having a year.
They certainly are. But then 40 seconds here. Once again, the Memphis
Cold-blooded.
Grizzlies take a lead in this one. So 10 seconds left here. The San Antonio Spurs down 1. Fox is who you want the ball in his hands.
There was time.
Gets
good defense.
blocked on the jumper by Santi Aldama. Some clutch defense by Aldama there. The Grizzlies win 106-105 in this one. Here's Victor Wembanyama.
I mean, we're not at our level. You know, I think it's there's some things we need to figure out. So the good thing is we can match up with anybody and look everybody in the eyes. But the bad thing is we look everybody in the eyes, and sometimes we should just put people away.
So Victor said the good news here is that we can match up with anybody. But then he said we can look everybody in the eye. The bad thing is we look everybody in the eye. So he's writing Shay's Instagram captions. but really what he's saying here is that we're playing down to our competition, Perk, in a very poetic way.
They are, but I'm not panicking. The reason being, I'm tired of getting, these appetizers of the San Antonio Spurs. I'm tired of the devil eggs. I'm tired of the calamari. You know what I'm saying? I want some cream spinach, some filet mignon. I want the full entree, meaning I want the full size, right? I don't want to see the Spurs with Wemby on minute restrictions, right? I want to see what they look like in a full size of 10 to 15 games where Wemby is able to play 30-plus minutes and they all clicking on all cylinders. That's when I'm going to know. It's hard for a team to be able to gel, but he's right. Don't play down to the level of your competition. This team checks all the boxes when it comes down to having a complete roster.
Yeah, I'm with you, but there's no excuses. They have the depth. They have the pieces. Castle's got to play better. Fox got to play better. They have guys like Vassell and Keldon Johnson. They have the depth. This could be a little, I give them teams grace. Cup final blues, maybe. Like a lot of teams usually trend after the cup downwardly. Knicks have lost 4 in a row. They've hit a kind of a wall. They need to find a way to refresh, but so they're good enough to where if they can beat OKC 3 times in the same month, they should be able to beat these teams.
So outside of the Oklahoma City Thunder, who's growing in real time, I think that the San Antonio Spurs have the best young core in basketball. Outside of that core that we've seen just win a championship. Perk, give them some time to cook.
That's what I said.
You can't eat it just raw. You got to, let it cook and marinate.
Appetizers okay.
And I do think that what we saw is that they are still a little bit ahead of the schedule. They're going to have to grow into being one of those great dominant teams. Yeah, they have, Castle, what?
Some of these teams, though, that they lost. Cleveland, Utah,
but
Portland.
listen,
but that's growing
Memphis,
pains, right?
for
Because
sure.
what
you got your listening skills on today
I
because
always do,
we're saying the same thing. I'm saying give them time. I want to see the full sample size of Victor being healthy.
Yep.
Right? It's hard to play and put together a string of games when he's on a minute restriction. So I am giving
But they're playing it right, though.
No, I am giving them grace, but I will say this, and you know this as well. When it gets to this period, like when you're approaching All-Star break, you got to find that way to continue to grow and trust that process to continue to lock in.
What
guys.
we do know is that we expect to see Victor Wembanyama, even though he was just back yesterday, on this second night of a back-to-back. So we're going to have more on that game against the Lakers coming up here. In Minnesota, Anthony Edwards led the team 26 points over the Heat. But in the second quarter, did you see this? He was on the bench with 3 fouls. So he just, had a little pineapple as a snack, Perk.
I don't have a problem with this, but what I do have a problem with, although the Minnesota Timberwolves on a 3-game winning streak, I expect better from them as far as being consistent. Consistent on their identity, that's on the defensive side of things, but you always going to have faith in the Minnesota because you got Ant leading the way.
There's the pineapple. All right, next up, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, and Sam Merrill combined for 87 points as the Cavs handed the Pacers their 13th straight loss. Womp womp. Danny, should we put the Believe back in Believeland?
No, not just yet. I'm kind of disappointed this season. I expect them to be at the top with New York. Now they got Detroit up there. They're with 5 or 6 in the East right now. It's time for them to make a move. They've done this big small guard situation. And it's time to move on from it, honestly. But this is the game they're supposed to win. They got to continue they're trending in a better direction, but they're just not there right now for me.
Well, we're going to put a pin in that with us moving towards the trade deadline. I want to see what move you think they need to make. But let's stick in the East for now. Down 26 points in the third. The Magic, they pulled all their starters on the way to losing to the Wizards. Orlando hasn't won consecutive games since the start of December, Chene. Concerning?
This is pretty concerning because this was the year that was supposed to be like, hey, we're getting over the edge, we're getting over the hump, especially considering the East is wide open. You're looking at the Boston Celtics making the most out of what they have. So I do think this is concerning, but hey, maybe post All-Star break, they'll get it all together and be more healthy.
They head to London pretty soon for that international game. And I love when they win because I get to hear the song. All right, finally, the Cooper Flag Show. It continues for Dallas. Flag led the way for the Mavericks, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. His biggest dime, finding Brandon Williams, who cashed it in for the game-winning three-pointer with about 30 seconds left here to defeat the Kings. You see it right there.
Strong side corner.
Cooper, he just turned 19. He leads the Mavericks in total points, in rebounds, assists, and steals this season. The last rookie to do that, Sinead, you were talking about their number earlier.
Michael Jordan.
There you go, Michael Jordan. He did that over the course of a full season. So joining us now, our senior reporter, Tim McMahon. Howdy, Tim.
Howdy, Malika.
It just makes my day every time. Let's talk a little bit more about Dallas. Cooper Flag is finally starting to find his footing within the NBA. And that means that there are some questions about the rest of the roster around him as we march toward the trade deadline. So what are you hearing about who they could be keeping, who they're looking to move on from?
Well, and look, that discussion begins with Anthony Davis, right? The priority is building around Cooper Flag. Everything has to be viewed through that prism. On Monday, when you took the day off, I mentioned that Anthony Davis's preference is to stay in Dallas and sign an extension this summer. The priority there is the extension, not the preference to stay in Dallas.
Right.
Now, the Mavericks are telling AD and his agent, Rich Paul, rather, that, although Chris is available these days, they're saying, hey, we're open-minded to an extension. You know, a maybe on the extension this summer. Now, Rich Paul's been around the block a few times. Last year, he got De'Aaron Fox put in San Antonio. He got Brandon Ingram put in Toronto. He hears maybe. What does that sound like to Rich Paul? No, it's either a yes now or Rich wants to get AD moved. Atlanta and Toronto are the teams you're hearing about the most as possibilities. The Mavericks are going to talk to a lot of teams. And look, Patrick Dumont, the owner, he would prefer to see AD, Kyrie, and Cooper Flag together before making any drastic decisions, any major decisions, whether that's trade or extension. That's probably not happening before the trade deadline.
Okay, so there's a lot there. Let's sort through it today. The most important thing you just heard in all of this, I mean, to me, it's that it seems more likely than not that AD is not going to be on the Dallas Mavericks.
I absolutely think so. And Perk, when we mentioned AD staying, why'd you have that reaction?
Because I know Rich Paul. Right? Rich Paul is about his client. Rich Paul is about getting his client the bag. And if the Dallas, like Tim just said, if it's either yes or no, if you're going to commit to a contract extension. And I wouldn't if I'm the Dallas Mavericks, to be honest with you, because Cooper Flag is everything and more. He's the white version of LeBron James, Mr. Do-It-All. Real talk. We just, minus a little bit of the athleticism, but when you talk about filling up the box score, he does it all. Blocks, rebounds, assists, points, however you want, he's going to give it to you.
So that was actually the comp that I was not really ready for, but I was going to actually, I can see it because you see players that are good with the ball in their hands, maybe not like as natural or fluid as we expected to start the year, but also do so very well downhill. That's where LeBron James owned when he came into the league. He'd get it in transition. He'd just come at your head. And I think that everyone talks about mentality, competitive fire. I like his physicality. Like he's not afraid to hunt mismatches and be great.
AD's my guy, but this is a tough situation to be a GM in. I would love to give him an extension because he's a great player, but he hasn't been available enough. So I understand both sides of it. AD should find a place where he can be happy. And Dallas looks like they're in the trending direction of going younger and starting over it anyway. So let's just move him along amicably like they're doing with Trae Young in Atlanta and find him a good situation where he can get an extension.
For keeping Kyrie, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
The Celtics, they host the Nuggets at 7 o'clock Eastern in the first game of our ESPN doubleheader. This matchup, it features two of the most efficient offenses in the NBA, and not just this season, friends. They're on pace to be the two most efficient offenses in NBA history. Currently, that distinction is held by the NBA champion, Boston Celtics, 2023-2024 year. All right, let's get set for this one, though. The Nuggets, of course, are going to be out without Nikola Jokic. He has that hyperextended knee. Jamal Murray, he is questionable, but he averages 27 points, just under 10 assists in the 3 games without Joker this season. And he has that ankle sprain. That's what he's dealing with tonight. The Celtics, though, they own the best record in the NBA over the last 8 weeks. Slow start, but Boston, they've lost 6 of their last 25 games. 4-time All-Star Jaylen Brown, he is leading the way for this group and is on pace for career highs in points and assists per game. He's also playing some elite perimeter defense. He's allowed the 3rd lowest success rate on contested threes in the league. And don't look now, But Boston, they're second in the Eastern Conference, just 3.5 games back from the Pistons, a half game ahead of the New York Knicks. And keep in mind, this is after DraftKings Sportsbook had projected Boston's total win total to be 41.5. They're already sitting pretty at 23, Danny. How have they done this? Is it just Jaylen Brown?
No, it's not. I mean, Jaylen Brown's been on an unbelievable tear, but it's not just him. Got to give a lot of credit to Joe Mazzulla. He's done an unbelievable job of turning that group and that offense to a high-powered offense with a depleted roster. They lost so many guys, empowering guys like Anthony Simons, Hugo Gonzalez, Keita, another big man, Jordan Walsh becoming a 3-and-D guy, a defender, playing, both sides of the ball. But Jaylen Brown, giving Jaylen Brown the reins to do what he wants to do, but they're not just shooting threes and chucking them up. They're coming down, getting a mix of some uncontested threes, but mid-range too, and getting to the basket. They're not just shooting a bunch of threes. So he's done an unbelievable job of getting this group to where they need to be offensively and giving them a chance to be number 2 in the East.
Jaylen Brown is the perfect anomaly within the Celtics three-point system. The Celtics make the most. They're first in made threes, but Jaylen Brown is second in made twos behind, can we guess, y'all, SGA, the MVP, and he's also third in isolation points per game. So those two areas that are missing outside of threes, he has become elite at those aspects, and that's where you get the balance and the harmony. And I like the growth of his game. We actually work out with the same trainer, Jamal Lavelle. Everyone calls him Dash Athletics. Yeah, I mean, major shout out here for what JB's doing. But like his dribbling, his reading, but also him knowing that the 2 is still a good shot within Mazzulla's system.
And look, Jaylen Brown is a Finals MVP on a Supermax contract, but also a guy who's got a ton to prove. For a lot of his career, he had to listen to, hey, should the Celtics trade Jaylen Brown? Does it fit with Jason Tatum? He still doesn't feel clearly that he's appreciated enough. And
you say that because of the Western Conference player of the month?
Exactly. But look, the adversity of the Achilles injury to Jason Tatum gave an opportunity to Jaylen Brown to prove just what a star he is. He has seized that opportunity, and he's put himself in a position where, look, they're the 2 seed in the East. He has to be at least part of the MVP discussion.
Exactly, especially with all of the injuries piling up around the league. You got the 65-game rule in position. Jaylen Brown could find himself with his play, coupled with the fact that there are some stars that aren't going to meet that threshold, really centered in the middle of that conversation. But Jaylen, not only has his play been exceptional, he's been making some serious statements, and I mean that literally over the last couple of days. Not only did he say that he should be the Western Conference Player of the Month, which more power to you, but he also said that he is the single best two-way player in the world. Well, that sounds like a job for Big Perk's Big List.
I think it's time for Big Perk's Big List.
Damn it, it's not your list. It's Big Perk's list. There's actually rules to this, okay? You will speak when spoken to. Give me some energy. Bam. That's it. Bam! 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 Put it up there. It's not your list. It's mine. Oh, it's on me. I got caught looking at myself. Damn, I look good. You know what else look good? The NBA, because it's full of two-way players, elite two-way players. Now, I don't have to go over the rules because everybody has been part of this segment. That's why you back, even Danny, your bow-legged ass. But look, it's time. Big Perk's big list of two-way players in the NBA right now, today. Today, coming in at number 5. Danny, walk your ass up there and give me some energy, boy.
Bam!
Put it up there.
You go. Okay.
Cade Cunningham. Because he's giving you about 27 points a night, 9 assists. Offensively, we know he's a walking bucket. On the defensive side of things, he ranks up there for his opponent field goal percentage, so he's not getting scored on. Also, the Pistons are second in the league at defensive efficiency, so he's doing his thing as the leader. Sinead, stride up here, girl. And give me number 4. Because we got action right here. You know what I'm saying? Put it up there.
Okay.
Scotty Boy.
Scotty too high.
My Toronto Raptors. The boy's doing his thing. He's averaging almost 20 points. We know he's a monster on the glass, but he's the only player in the NBA that has 50 blocks and 50 steals. So he's getting it done at a high level. That's why the Raptors are right now a playoff team in the Eastern Conference, because Scotty and Brandon Ingram been holding it down. Tim, let me see you. What you got for me?
Judge Tim.
Bam! Yeah. swag in it. Giannis Antetokounmpo. We can never leave Giannis out of the conversation. Yeah, he's giving you 30, 10, and 5, but the way that he's able, his force that he plays with, being able to switch 1 through 5, being able to be one of the elite rim protectors in the game, he's always going to make this list. He's one of the greatest two-way players to ever play the game of basketball.
Yeah.
Malika, where you at, girl?
I would try to do the Wemby, but I'm wearing a skirt, so bam!
Just don't hurt your knee. Victor Wembanyama, he's number 2. Right? We know he's giving you 24 points a night. We know how versatile he is. He's going to snatch the screws out the rim. He's going to catch lobs. But he's also leading the league in block shots. He's also 3rd in the league in opponent's field goal percentage, opponent's field goal percentage. He's getting it done. That's why the Spurs are where they are right now.
Okay.
They're coming in at number 1.
Are you going to agree with him?
Put it up there. Damn it. He ain't lying. He said it, and I believe it. Not only did he go in there like this past weekend and lock up Kawhi, but he gave him a 50-piece. Forget that. He's averaging 30 points, shooting 50% from the field, 37 from 3. He's got the Celtics number 2 number 2 in the East. And he's 2nd in the NBA in opponent's field goal percentage.
Yeah.
He's above Wemby. This is Big Perk's big list of best two-way players in the league right now. I'm out of breath, but I don't see nothing wrong with it.
All
I
right.
don't see nothing wrong with
We're
it.
going to need a chair and a towel for Perk here. What I loved about Jaylen Brown guarding Kawhi Leonard is that he sent a text message to Joe Mazzulla on the plane and said, hey, I want this assignment. Perk, I know it's your list, but Shanae, Tim, DG, how we feel about it?
This is really good, actually.
I like this list.
Oh, Tim has an argument.
I kind of like that 7-foot-something Frenchman. A little, I'm just saying.
All right, so you're saying I'm not doing the 6'7". No,
I might swap 2 and 1. All due respect to Jaylen Brown.
Respect, Cade.
This is Big Perk's big list, and he always says you can argue with your mama. But this is what we got here for the best two-way players in the NBA right now. Young has his eyes on the Washington Wizards as his preferred trade destination. Now, Young, he's played his entire 8-year career in Atlanta, but remember, he was not offered an extension when he became eligible at the start of the season. And now we are here with Young eyeing a new partner here in the NBA. So, Shams, why has Young set his sights on the Washington Wizards?
Look, with the Wizards, Trae Young in the nation's capital would become their lead guard of the future. And the Wizards are a franchise that's been in the middle of a rebuild, but their top officials, Michael Winger and Will Dawkins, have looked for an anchor for their young talent. They've got some rising young talented players, and Trae Young himself also has relationships in that organization, specifically with the executive Travis Schlenk that drafted him number 5 overall in 2018, but also Will Dawkins, who's the GM of the Wizards. He was a member of the Oklahoma City Thunder for a long period of time while Trae Young was a star at Oklahoma, as well as David Vanderpool, who served as an assistant with the Thunder as well. But all of these conversations are taking place because Trae Young and the Hawks simply both understand that his fit there is just not long-term moving forward. They had a chance, the Hawks did, to reach an extension in the offseason. They declined to offer Trae Young an extension, and since that point, these sides have remained in conversations about his future, and the Washington Wizards have now emerged as Trae Young's top desired trade destination. Trae Young wants to be a Wizard.
Okay, so certainly a lot of history between the top players here for the Washington Wizards and their front office and Trae Young. Now it's a matter of how this trade is going to materialize, and we will certainly check back in with you for that, Shams. Thank you. And while we're speaking of the trade market, let's talk about Jonathan Kuminga, because the buzz continues to build. The Warriors again at a crossroads here. Kuminga's played less than 10 minutes total since the first week of December. The Warriors, they're in the middle of the pack in the West. They're running out of time to make a decision as the deadline approaches here. So our reporter Anthony Slater, he covers the Warriors for us, and he joins us now. Slater, I had said that we were going to put the kibosh on Kuminga conversation until there is a real update, but it feels you're shaking your head. You're saying that's not an option because the Warriors, they're having these conversations. What can you tell us?
We're going to be talking about this until like 2035 or something at this point. But Malika, rival executives are seeing what we're all seeing, which is a 23-year-old young wing buried on the bench as the deadline approaches in a win-now time for the Warriors. And they're saying value must be going down on Jonathan Kuminga. What was available in the summer, which the Warriors didn't deem good enough to trade him, is lessening. The Kings are a good example. They had a protected, first-round pick on the table this summer. They're saying that's not currently on the table. Still interested in Kuminga, but value lessening. And the Warriors are, at least voicing to me that they don't have to trade him. They're exploring all options. They're canvassing the league. My educated guess at this point would be he is traded by the deadline. But if he's not, it's because, the value keeps dwindling. I think there would be many upset figures in this whole situation if he's still here. But they have him under contract for next season. They have a team option. They could trade him in the summer, but the desire still is to do it before the deadline.
Okay, Slater, well, your educated guess is good enough for me because you are one of the most in-the-know people there is on the Golden State Warriors. Since we're talking about this until 2035, I will see you again in 2031. Thank you so much for the update here as we bring it back inside studio. The Warriors, they say that they may not trade Jonathan Kuminga. Are we all good if we just put that over here for right now?
Yeah.
Yes. All right, we're putting that over here for now. The Warriors have a big game tonight. They face the Milwaukee Bucks. They need to get right here. Both of these teams, they need to make a move. Is there one that you think needs to make it more urgently, Shanae?
Oh, man, this is really hard. It's like split decision for me, but I'm going to say the Golden State Warriors just because the urgency is on. We already know what the Milwaukee Bucks situation is, but for Golden State, they came in, and I'm one of those people that never really thought that the championship expectations were there, but more so to be more competitive in the West.
Right.
The league is getting younger as they are getting older. They are the second oldest team by usage in basketball, and so if you're going to try to salvage what you can of Steph Curry, you need to be able to infuse some type of energy around him. And I feel like they have more hope at doing this now, which means there's more pressure on them.
Is there any, I'm still trying to figure out what has gone so wrong in these first 35, 37, wherever at games for the Golden State Warriors. There was so much excitement the way they ended the season last year. Is it just the 5-month offseason aged players that much?
No, everyone has failed Steph in this organization. We're talking about an all-time great.
You said failed Steph.
Yes, and I'm talking about Steve Kerr, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler. Like, they can't get right. This man is averaging 28 points on 47% shooting right now, damn near 40% from the three, and y'all can't get right. We're talking about a window where he's trying to max out, meaning to go win a championship. You didn't trade for Jimmy Butler last year just to come in and sign him to extension to be number 8 in the Western Conference. And then what's up with your player development? Why can't Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga thrive under Steve Kerr? They are failing Steph Curry to the max right now.
I hear all that. I agree with all that. There's more pressure on the Milwaukee Bucks. This is about the Warriors trying to get the final chapter of Steph's career right. This is about the Bucks trying to make sure Giannis' story continues in Milwaukee. There's hope to get it right under Steph. There's heat on the Bucks because Giannis over and over and over again has made sure that the franchise feels that pressure. And it's not necessarily move me now, but it's at a certain point he's going to reach that threshold if they aren't able to upgrade and make him feel like he has a legitimate chance to continue contending with the Bucks.
I'm with Tim here. I think, Golden State is probably 1.5 pieces away from being like a serious team. Milwaukee, they're a couple pieces away. And their superstars thinking about walking out the door. You're in no danger of losing Steph Curry in the near future right now. I don't think.
Well, it don't seem like you're in danger of losing Giannis Antetokounmpo either because he ain't going to say a damn thing. Well, he ain't going to tell them.
It does seem like both of these teams right now are at a crossroads. I don't know if either one is going to take either fork. It seems like everyone's just sitting squarely in the middle, but hopefully we get a good one with healthy available players tonight in that matchup. All right, we got a good one tonight. The Spurs, they host the Lakers. It's at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN, and all eyes are going to be on Victor Wembanyama, who's averaging 27 points, 10 rebounds over his last 5 games, shooting 43% from 3. And Luka Doncic, he leads the NBA, 33.5 points a game, also ranks 5th in assists per game. He averages 32 points against San Antonio, the second most in NBA history behind only Michael Jeffrey Jordan. And speaking of GOATs, since his historic double-digit scoring streak came to an end, LeBron James, he's averaged 25, 6, and 6. But will we see him tonight? Here's what he had to say.
So this is TBD for San Antonio. I gotta ask.
You're 41 years old. Of course, there's always
Didn't look like it.
back-to-back.
Didn't look like it.
Every back-to-back for the rest of the season is TBD. I am 41. I got the most minutes in NBA history.
True.
Bank it right now, okay? What are we talking about?
It's just you don't look like you're 41 on the court.
But I am. December 30th, 1984, 4:39 p.m.
I know that voice that was pressing LeBron James there. That was our senior writer, Dave McMenamin, who joins us now. Dave, we heard the exchange yesterday, but it's been 12, 13, 14 hours since then. What more can you tell us about LeBron's status for tonight?
Yeah, Malika, here's a big word for Big Perk. LeBron was apoplectic when I asked him about his status for today, but we're not going to know what's going to happen with him until he takes his pregame nap and wakes up from it and see how his body feels. I checked in with a source with the Lakers when I landed in San Antonio about 2 hours ago, and I got 3 letters back, TBD. And so we're still waiting. As we approach game time, we'll find out more information.
All right, this would be the first back-to-back that LeBron James has played in this season. Perk, you're going to need to work apoplectic into some point at the end of the show, please. Let's get to Victor Wembanyama, because many have been apoplectic as to how to stop him. So how are the Lakers looking to slow down Vic here?
Well, Malika, the first matchup the Lakers had with the Spurs this year, they held Victor to 5 for 14 shooting, but there was no De'Aaron Fox, there was no Dylan Harper. The Lakers won that game. Then they played in the NBA Cup quarterfinals. Victor didn't play. De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper both ran roughshod over the Lakers defense. It'll be interesting to see if Victor Wembanyama comes off the bench or not tonight if he plays, because the Lakers have found a formula to get more out of DeAndre Ayton defensively is to feed him early in games, get him going offensively, and then it gets him going on the other end. Perhaps if he gets to face a Spurs team that doesn't have Victor Wembanyama in the starting lineup, by the time Victor checks in, you have a better defensive effort out of DeAndre Ayton tonight.
Okay, so that's certainly something we're going to be keeping an eye on, along with LeBron James' status for this one. Dave, thank you so very much for that insight here on NBA Today. Now remember, the last time these two teams met, it was in the NBA Cup quarterfinal. Wemby, he did not play, but the Lakers, they had a lot of problems dealing with the rest of those folks. So, Perk, what are you looking for in this game?
Oh, the thing that had the Lakers apoplectic the last time they played the Spurs. Yeah, the backcourt matchup. I'm looking at the backcourt. Like, who's going to stop the Spurs? The last time they played, this was started the whole blow up for the Los Angeles Lakers. De'Aaron Fox, Castle, Harper, they had it their way, and they actually exposed the Lakers. So I'm going to see what J.J. Redick's game plan is going to look like to try to slow down those big guards and wings.
You're worried about the big guards. What about the big man? Who's going to stop Victor Wembanyama? Because even in limited minutes, he looks really good. His ability to read. I mean, it's not just his scoring at the rim. It's the passing, knocking down timely threes. I'm like, how are you going to defend that? And also knowing that Victor Wembanyama gets up for big games.
I mean, for me, it's the others. The Spurs have been struggling, but the reason why they were winning is guys like Kellen Johnson, Vassell, but most importantly, Champagnie. He had 11 threes against the Knicks. They've taken a little bit of dive since the Cup game, but I'm looking at those guards and what they can do. Castle hasn't had a good, like a Castle game in a little while, so I'm trying to see what he can do. De'Aaron Fox needs a bounce-back game. The losses they've taken, Memphis, Portland, Cleveland, Utah, those are tough losses, so they have something to prove tonight.
Now, I'm with Shanae. I'm watching DeAndre Ayton, especially if he has a challenge of dealing with Wemby. But really, I'm watching DeAndre Ayton every night because this is an audition for him. This is a chance for him to prove that he can be the long-term answer at a position the Lakers desperately need. At this point, I don't think he's passing the audition. They shouldn't have to motivate, hey, here, you touch the ball, please play hard.
Right.
That's a job description.
No, I agree. He do need to play like a grown-ass man, but I will say this. I will give J.J. Redick a lot of credit because every time, even last year, when they was going against bigs, he found a way to shut down big men, whether that was trapping. We saw against the Knicks with Karl Anthony Towns. Last year, he had some good games against Jokic. They'll find a way to neutralize Wemby by sending a double team, but the others, that's how they have a problem, and that's their Achilles heel. They don't have enough speed on the perimeter to defend at a high level.
Shanae, if you're the Los Angeles Lakers and you're LeBron James, Are you given the green light? Are you going to play on this back-to-back, the first one at 41 years old?
Come on now.
I would. You know, I'm feeling good. I'm coming off of a great game, honestly, where he was just dicing and dissecting his opponent. So if I am LeBron James, maybe I say, like, I'm going here, but, like, y'all remember this. Y'all remember this down there.
I'm thinking bigger picture, April, May, and June. It's not, I don't know if it's worth it right now in early January to say, oh, we need you for, especially there's no guarantee they're going to win this game.
Aren't y'all even 41? Let the man wake up from his nap to see how creaky he feels.
You're speaking on the other side for us?
He'd be good. He had a little hour flight last night. They got in San Antonio pretty early. He got some rest. They ain't have shoot around this morning.
I think
he'll
he needs
be
more
all right.
rest.
Well, we do know that Michael C. Wright said it on our show yesterday. If he was going to give it a go yesterday, the plan was for him to play in back-to-backs. I don't know how much of this is eyeing postseason awards.
Like 20 years between Victor and LeBron.
Exactly. You need to play those 20